In this video, we will be talking about converting fraction to decimal. So let's say we want to convert the fraction 1/2 into decimal. So this is how you do it. You divide the numerator, which is 1, by the denominator, which is 2. So the numerator will be inside the box, which is composed of the vinculum and the bar, vertical bar. And outside will be the denominator, because we want to divide the numerator by the denominator. So 1 divided by 2, that cannot be because 1 is smaller than 2. And so we'll just use 0, because 0 times 2 is 0. And that's okay to subtract. So 1 minus 0 is 1. And so we end up with a remainder 1. But when we are trying to convert a fraction into decimal, we always continue until there's no more remainder. And so what we are going to do is to add more 0. So we'll put a decimal point and add one more 0 to continue. So bring down 0. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. And so we'll copy the decimal point and we're going to put 5. So 5 times 2 is 10. Then we subtract. So it is 0. And there's no more remainder. That means 1/2 in decimal is 0.5. So let's have another example. So we have a fraction 3/8 and we want to convert this into decimal. And so we will divide the numerator 3 by the denominator 8. So we have 3 divided by 8. So the numerator 3 will be inside the box and the denominator 8 will be outside. So 3 divided by 8, that cannot be because 3 is smaller than 8. And so we'll just use 0, so that 0 times 8 will be 0. And that will be fine to subtract. 3 minus 0 is 3. Then we have a remainder and we want to continue until no more remainder. So let's add one more 0, but don't forget to put the decimal point. So bring down 0. 30 divided by 8 is 3. Notice that we put the decimal point as well. We always copy the decimal point when we add 0. So 3 times 8 is 24. And then we subtract. 30 minus 24 is 6. And then we have a remainder. So we continue adding more 0 until there's no more remainder. So bring down 0. 60 divided by 8 is 7. 7 times 8 is 56. And then subtract 60 minus 56. We have 4. Then again we have a remainder. Then we will continue adding 0. So we bring down 0. 40 divided by 8 is 5. 5 times 8 is 40. 40 minus 40 is 0. So no more remainder. That means 3/8 in decimal is 0.375 or 375 thousandths. Now how about this? We have a mixed number 5 and 12 over 25. So how do we convert this into decimal? Now if it involves whole number, then you just have to put the whole number and just solve for the decimal part. So we don't know the decimal part, but we are sure that there is 5 as a whole number because that is the whole in the mixed form, which is 5. Now we want to convert 12 over 25 into decimal. And so let's divide 12 by 25. So 12 is smaller than 25, so we'll just put 0 on top and multiply 0 by 25, which is 0. 12 minus 0 is 12. Then we have a remainder, so we will continue adding 0. So bring down 0. So it is now 120. Divided by 25, it will be 4. So copy the decimal point. 4 times 25 is 100. Then subtract 120 minus 100, it will be 20. So we have again a remainder. So let's continue by adding 0. Bring down 0. 200 divided by 25 is 8. 8 times 25 is 200. Then subtract 200 minus 200 is 0. So this means 12 over 25 is 0.48. So the decimal form of 5 and 12 over 25 is 5.48. Now how about this? We have a fraction 3/9 and we want to convert this into decimal. And so we will divide the numerator 3 by the denominator 9. So let's divide 3 by 9. So 3 divided by 9, that cannot be. So we will just put 0, and 0 times 9 is 0. And 3 minus 0 is 3. Then we have a remainder 3, so we'll continue by adding 0. And of course, we don't forget to put the decimal point. Then bring down 0. So 30 divided by 9 is 3. And don't forget to copy the decimal point on top. Then 3 times 9 is 27. And 30 minus 27 is 3. Then we have a remainder 3, and we're gonna continue by adding 0 and bring down 0. So 30 divided by 9 is 3, because 3 times 9 is 27, and then we subtract 30 minus 27, it's 3. Then again we have a remainder 3. So let's continue by adding 0 and bring down 0. 30 divided by 9 is 3, and 3 times 9 is 27. So 30 minus 27 is 3. And again, we have a remainder 3. And we could keep on adding 3 on the quotient, and it's never ending. So how do we write it? So 3/9 is in decimal 0.3333 and so on. And we write it in this way, 0.3 bar. The bar on top means it is repeating and never ending. And this kind of decimal is what you call non-terminating. And these non-terminating decimals can be written in fraction like the 3/9 as long as it is repeating. If it's not repeating and it is also non-terminating, then it cannot be transformed into fraction. They are called irrational numbers. Another one, we have this fraction 15 over 90, and we want to convert this into decimal. To make it easier for us to change into decimal, we can reduce this fraction. The numerator and the denominator are both divisible by 5, then let's divide it. So 15 divided by 5 will be 3, and 90 divided by 5 is 18. And then 3 and 18 are both divisible by 3, so let's continue reducing the fraction. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 18 divided by 3 is 6. You can actually directly divide the given by 15 so that you can just get directly 1/6. That is, if you have figured out that both 15 and 90 are divisible by 15. Or you may do it one by one like what we did, as dividing by 5 and dividing by 3. So that means 15 over 90 is the same as 1/6. And now we can change it into decimal. So let's divide 1 by 6. So 1 divided by 6, that cannot be, so just put 0. 0 times 6 is 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. Then we have remainder 1, so we'll continue by adding 0. And we don't forget to put the decimal point. Then bring down 0. 10 divided by 6, it will be 1. And don't forget to copy the decimal point on top. Then 1 times 6 is 6. So 10 minus 6, it will be 4. And then we continue adding 0 because we have a remainder 4. So bring down 0. 40 divided by 6, it will be 6 because 6 times 6 is 36. Then subtract 40 minus 36, it will be 4. Then continue by adding 0. Bring down 0, so 40 divided by 6 is again 6. 6 times 6 is 36. And 40 minus 36 is 4. And if we continue adding 0, it will be the same result. That means the 6 will be non-terminating. It is repeating a non-terminating part, but not the whole thing is repeating. So how do we write it? So that means 15 over 90, or the 1/6, can be written in decimal form like this: 0.16 bar. Observe that we didn't involve 1 in the bar because 1 is not repeating, it's only 6. So that means the bar will be used to those numbers which are repeating. Now you might think if you will just use 15 over 90 by dividing 15 divided by 90, will it be the same? The answer is yes. It's gonna be the same result, although it will involve bigger numbers that you don't like. That's why I suggest if the fraction can be reduced to lowest form, you better reduce it first so that it will involve only smaller numbers. Now what if you are tasked to convert a decimal into fraction? How will you do it? That's what we are going to talk about in my next video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have learned from this video. Please support my channel by pressing the subscribe button, and also write the math topics you want to learn in the comment section.